Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. Now, before we get in, I want to let you know that this interview with Amanda was done over 3 months ago, and at the time she was doing around $8,000 a month. Now, currently at the end of the year, getting ready to go into 2024, she's had $20,000 months. So I just want to put that out there for the folks who know Amanda. Maybe you're inside of our community and you're like, wait, she's already past that. She has been growing at a rapid rate. So just keep in mind, this interview is about 3+ months old, and we'll be doing an update video with Amanda as well. But definitely watch this video in full. It was very informative and certainly inspiring to, watch Amanda's journey from doing a couple hundred a month to now 8,000 a month and currently over 20,000. So enjoy this video. And with that being said, much love. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Steve here with Rake and Profit, and I am joined with my good friend Amanda. And this is an update video that we're doing because I actually brought Amanda on the channel. What was this, back in February?
Yeah, February, I think was the last time we did this.
Yeah, so Amanda's become a really good friend. She's a student, and she actually went through my eBay to Amazon program. What was this, about a year ago or so, maybe?
Yeah, I think so. 10 months at least.
Yeah.
For sure.
So we're kind of like documenting her journey, and I wanted to do an update video to kind of share how Amanda's doing, because I think when we talked, we went to the Miami Seller Conference, right, with Avery. And by the way, that's coming up in March. So I'll put a link down below for you guys. Yeah. We've got some cool things. Probably going to get a house, like an eBay to Amazon house and whatnot. But what were you doing, like 4,000 or 5,000 a month?
Yeah, I did 4,000 that month, and then I dropped down probably down to 3.
And the funny thing is, that month, I think you did 4 or 5, but it was because you had a huge Lego pickup, right?
Yeah,
like
just skyrocketed me.
Yeah,
but then that was just a one-off. So
yeah, because you were doing on average like 2 to 3, 2.
I would say 2 to 4 was like. But I grew each month, so I would do 3,000 and 4,000, and then I dropped down back to 3.
So this is a 7-month update. So let's tell everybody what you're doing currently in sales right now. And of course, everyone's gonna be like, well, what's your profit, right? So we'll give some averages, but what's your actual revenue now with eBay to Amazon now, like, over the last 30 days or so?
I did about 8,000 in sales.
Wow, look at you go.
Yeah, I picked it up for sure after Miami.
Yeah, so that's cool. So we'll kind of dive into maybe what you've been doing and how you were able to grow your sales. For the folks who don't know who you are, you've been doing what, Amazon for, is it a year now, or?
Yeah, so I started Amazon in actually full year now, maybe 13 months, but I started off with books for the first 2 or 3 months. Then I jumped right into eBay to Amazon in December.
With just books?
For books on eBay, no, I was doing DVDs, board games, just little tiny categories.
Yeah, little random items. And well, that's how I started too. I started with books, and then I was like, okay, I don't really want to do books that much right now. From E to A, Thrifting's fine. DVDs, and now I do electronics and stuff. Are you doing electronics and tools?
Yes, I love electronics. They have such a great opportunity in that little category that I think it's a great opportunity. Yeah,
well, cool. So tell folks, why did you decide to do eBay to Amazon? We're not here to pitch like, oh, you have to do eBay to Amazon, but there's so many, like, there's wholesale, online arbitrage, there's thrifting, garage sales, auctions. I mean, you could do local. There's people who make full-time incomes just like using Nextdoor app and Facebook. Why eBay to Amazon for you?
For me, I still work a full-time job. So I was able to, I love the idea of staying home after a long day of work, going on eBay, looking at all my stuff and doing it there and sourcing and making money that way versus driving to a thrift store and then driving back and then it's filtering through, so little product, and it's easier to get discouraged at a thrift store. For me, it wasn't as easy to get discouraged on eBay, so I just felt like, for me personally, I just like to be at home, hang out, and multitask mainly. So it just worked the best for me.
I love it. Thrift stores are still the best. You're never going to get margins from a thrift store. You get 4,000 or 5,000% margins. But you have to drive all around town. You're fighting with a ton of competitors. It's so hit or miss. I mean, you could hit Jackpot City, or you can literally, someone like you or I have maybe swept through the thrift store and you find nothing, right? When you're doing eBay to Amazon, there's always opportunities, but you pay more money, right, for the item. So how do you feel compared to thrifting versus eBay to Amazon? Because yes, you could stay at home, but you have to spend a lot more money. So what advice would you give to people who are I'm just used to spending $1 or $2 on a book or a DVD? How did you make that transition?
So when I was spending $1 or $2 at the thrift store, I would be making $2 or $3 profit. I mean, and if you do that lots of times over and over again, it's great. But, I would rather spend $10 and make a $20 profit. I feel like there's more security in eBay to Amazon. I know everything is right there. I can look at how many sellers there are. I can look at the sell rate. I can look at everything. In a thrift store, you may have internet that's not great and you can't look up all that information. So you could be like spending time in duds. You don't know. So I like that in eBay to Amazon, there's more for sure thing versus like thrift store to me is just kind of up in the air.
Yeah. One of the things I also like as well is when you're doing eBay to Amazon, you can see so much more data. Like obviously you could use the Keepa app, Scout IQ, Scout Lead, like they all have data points. But with online arbitrage, I feel like you're able to see the data so much better using like Seller Amp and then the full features on Keepa and everything to make better decisions as well.
Absolutely. You just have so much information there. You know, I am not a huge gambler. I don't like to gamble. I don't like to like, I don't like to maybe this will work out, you know, so doing eBay to Amazon, it feels more secure to me, in my opinion.
So how are you able to take your sales from, I know you had a $4,000 to $5,000 a month back in February and people might be thinking, whoa, you're only at 8 now. But the thing is, you were really around 2. You found that crazy Lego haul from that lady at the garage sale. How many Legos did you buy from that lady?
About 20 Legos. I did have like a capital issue. She had about 300 Legos available. I just didn't have the capital to like buy them all. So I just
got you. So one thing I want you to share with people, because again, she was doing 2 to 3 on average and now she's up to 8 average, 8,000 a month. Talk about virtual assistants because look at her face light up.
I love it.
She hired 2 virtual assistants, and for anyone doing online arbitrage, eBay to Amazon, traditional OA, wholesale, getting VAs can make a huge difference. So tell people about how that has helped you, like what your VAs are doing and how has it helped you to get to 8,000. And then we'll talk about where you're going to be going Q4.
Yeah, so I hired 2 virtual assistants. I loved hiring 2 because they too can talk to each other if they have a question versus always coming to me.
All on you,
I wanted to free up my time. Like I was working full-time job, then full-time Amazon. I was leaving no time for fun or anything. So hiring the 2 really gave me that freedom to explore other things in life, you know?
Did they just source for you?
They just source for me. So they are on Flipmine. They're doing my replens list. They're going, sometimes I'll have them do product Keepa Finder and just a different array of sourcing, but they only do E2A. They don't do the typical OA or anything like that. Yeah.
And is it affordable? I mean, you don't have to share exact numbers, but a lot of people think, oh, to hire a virtual assistant or an employee, it's going to cost me $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month. So is it economical? Is it something a beginner can do?
Yeah, so I'm only paying $400 a month per VA. So
she told you, she gave it away.
So $800 total for the both of them, which could sound like a lot. Like that does, like in the beginning for me.
That's bottom line,
Yeah, like that's me. Like that's like if they perform, you know, I could be spending a month training them, and you know, so it is a lot of stress. But overall, they do amazing, and they find really good deals, and that to me, they definitely bring in more than they output. You know, you're paying them $400 a month, but they're bringing in $2,000, $3,000 worth of value for you. Oh, absolutely. Like I'm paying them $800 a month, but I went from $4,000 to $8,000. Like I doubled. You know, they came in late June. In June, I bought 54 items off eBay. Bringing them on, I bought 154 items. So they tripled my purchases on eBay. And it's an investment as well. Like for anyone who's brand new, if you've never done eBay to Amazon, and this isn't a big eBay to Amazon ad, but for any type of online arbitrage model, you don't want to necessarily start with a VA at first. Learn on your own, figure out how to source, figure out all your systems. And then, I mean, you've been, this is a 3-month update using VAs. Yeah. I mean, it's not like it's all going into your pocket. It's an investment, right? So if you just want to run a lean, small, manageable business and put a couple $1,000s in your pocket, like you don't need VAs. But the thing is with VAs, you're able to leverage your time, but it is an investment. Like over time, right now, say you're making a 2x return on your VAs. Like eventually the goal is to make it a 3x, 4x, 5x because they get smarter. They get better at sourcing. They get better at building your replens. And, you know, for anyone who hasn't been running an Amazon business, there's a million nuances to a business. So, well, that's cool. So what are your goals for Q4? Where do you want to take this? You're, you know, averaging around 8K right now, the last 30 days or so. Yeah. Where do you want to take things from? My goal for Q4 is 13 to 15,000. Like, I really want to just scale and just kill it. And what are your typical margins on that? So if you're going to do 15,000, does that mean $15,000 profit in your pocket? I would say my profit is roughly 30% after, you know, I do have a strict ROI, but when it comes down to like expenses and stuff, I'll be sitting at a good 30%. Yeah. So if you get it up to 15,000, you could be profiting maybe $4,000 to $6,000 depending on your margins after you pay everybody. And it's a long-term game, right? Again, I tell people all the time, it takes a good 6 to even 18 months to get to the point where you could really start putting good amounts of money in your pocket. And I know that's, you know, it's different for everybody. Yeah.
But Amazon isn't as easy as everybody makes it sound. Like anybody go to a thrift store and flip an item and put $30 profit in their pocket. Anybody can flip an item, eBay to Amazon and put money. But when you want to scale and like get it to a point where you want to maybe turn it into like a substantial income stream, maybe that's just $1,000 a month for you, or 3 or 5 or 10,000 a month. It takes time. And I always recommend, and you've been doing this as well, and I want to be transparent, like you've been investing most of all your profits into the business. It's not like you're 8 months later. It's not like she's like taking all this money and getting ready to quit her job. It takes time to do this, but you're doing this with a full-time job.
Yeah.
So you're almost like building it on the side, and you're building up like this equity in this business. And a lot of your profits are in your inventory, but you grow it big enough and then you're able to start, paying yourself some money. So,
right. I mean, I don't plan on paying myself for a couple of years just because I do have the full-time job. I just like having that little stability and, having the little, I just love this as a side hustle personally.
But you're growing right now too. And this is very important and very clear to everybody listening right now. When you're trying to grow an Amazon business, in order to grow, you're having to spend more money buying inventory, right?
Yeah.
Like the only difference between you doing 8,000 and me, I'd scaled up to, I'm down to like 60 now because I can't ship because I have no home anymore after the car accident. The only reason I was able to scale up 10x free, I'm just spending probably 10x as much money as you. I've got 10x the infrastructure, 10x the system. So it's a whole process, right? Yeah. I mean, it's just, you just have to spend more money, right?
And I'm investing 100% back into the business.
Yeah.
Like I started with $500. That was my cap to spend on a new business. And then, so I just kind of rolled it over, and I don't plan on taking money out for a while.
Yeah. So what's your advice to folks who are maybe they're coming from the eBay world, or they're thrifting and they're like, I want to try some eBay to Amazon flips on the side. Maybe down the road, I want to get a virtual assistant so I could wake up and, I love waking up in the morning and it's like they've sourced like 10, 15, 20. Yeah. They've spent $1,000, $2,000. I'm like, oh, this is sweet. What advice would you have for folks who want to like experiment with eBay to Amazon or start getting their feet wet in this little world of online arbitrage?
It's amazing. I love it. And it's not as easy as it looks. Like it is hard work. It takes a lot of skills, but those skills are easy to learn. And it's just educating and just watching as many YouTube videos as you can and really learning about the business.
One step at a time, yeah.
And for me personally, I like to get tunnel vision, and I think that can be a good thing. You don't want to start watching videos where they're doing wholesale or private label, and then you get into that category. You want to kind of grow.
Pick one thing
and stick with it, get good at it, and then move on to something smaller within the same category. Like if you're selling, DVDs, then grow into maybe home and kitchen, then maybe grow into something else. Don't go like, okay, I'm good at DVDs. Let's go to online arbitrage now. Like it's completely different.
Yeah. And start on a small budget. Don't start flipping. Like a lot of people laugh when I told them like I've sold over 5,000 DVDs in the last year. And they're like, oh, you can't sell DVDs, that many DVDs for $70, $80. There's literally hundreds of thousands of DVDs that sell for $50 to $150 all day long. Mm-hmm. Right. But don't start flipping high ticket stuff. Like start flipping items you could buy for $8 and flip it for 35 and then start spending 10 and 15 and 20. Now you're starting to do some higher ticket stuff.
I am. Yeah.
But it takes time.
It does. I first started, doing books on eBay. I would pay $5 for them, flip them for 35. And now my price point is about 30 and flip them for about 80.
So to kind of wrap things up here, you're flipping what? You're flipping books, DVDs, CDs, board games, right? A little.
Yeah, I know. A little bit because board games can be tricky. And then electronics.
Okay. Like what type of electronics? Like just like CD players and random things? Are you more on like tools and business industrial?
No, I'm more CD players.
Common consumer electronics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's a lot of
so much opportunity there. There's so much. Like you just got to get after it.
Well, cool. Well, thank you so much for the update. So we got to have to get another update maybe in like 3 or 4 months and see. Because I remember in the Miami video when we were in Hollywood Beach back in February, you had a goal of hitting 10K. Now you're at 8K. And again, it's revenue, right? We're being honest about it. But, a lot of people aren't going to be honest. They're going to show you the big numbers, the big orange bars, but what's actually going on behind the curtains. You're investing all your money back in. You're growing. You're still working your job. Right? We don't own this house right now. We're at a $2 million house that we're renting at an Airbnb right now. We have like 20 to 25 eBay to Amazon flippers and OA sellers here. So Amanda hasn't purchased this house yet, but maybe in 4 months.
It's on the list.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Amanda, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll do an update soon. If you guys want to learn more about eBay to Amazon and all that, subscribe to the channel. I'll put some free training down below. I'll put a link to the Miami event that Avery, Rome of the Roamers, hosting in, I believe, March of 2024.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what you kind of mentioned earlier.
I think he's projecting to have, what, 300 plus people there.
Yeah,
So.
it's an amazing opportunity just to network and meet people.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and I'm not running it, but Avery's a good friend of mine. So I want to get as many smart people and inspired people together in a room, because that's the only reason you and I are here, because of other people.
100%.
I would have quit this business a long time ago without the YouTube channel and the community. So
and it's definitely a great community of support.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Hey,
Thank you.
this was fun. Talk to everybody soon, and much love. Bye.